Hello, this is Massimo Leggio, and this is my profile on Durango Saloon, my parents' restaurant. Some buildings carry more than history. They hold the weight of entire areas, families, and turning points in the community. Durango Saloon in Boyertown, Pennsylvania is one of those rare places where personal and local history meet. Today, many people remember it as a beloved spot for food and nightlife, but for my family, it represents far more. It represents ambition, identity, community, and a legacy built within one of the oldest structures in town. The building first appeared in local history before 1859 as the private residence of William Shaner. In 1870, it became William Penn Hotel, serving travelers arriving by train on the tracks that still run beside it. Later, under Samuel Sperry, it transformed into the Mansion House, one of Boyertown's premier dining establishments. According to local accounts and as well as my parents learned firsthand, the Mansion House was one of the first restaurants in Pennsylvania to serve live lobster. Trains would stop beside the building and drop crates down a chute into the basement. Diplomats from New York and New Jersey would travel in just to eat lobster before heading to the nearby Rhodes Opera House. That connection is forever tied to the 1907 Opera House fire, where 170 people were trapped inside because of the weight of the crowd stopped anyone from opening the inward swinging door. That tragedy shaped national safety codes and cemented the building's place in Pennsylvania history. You can see the Mansion House, how it looked before my parents bought it. This is the Opera House right here, and this is an ice house. By the time my parents discovered the building in the early 1990s, all of the glory had disappeared. What had once been a lively hotel and restaurant had become what my parents described as a nuisance bar, on the brink of losing its liquor license. It is known more for fights, drug activity, and rough crowd than for food. My parents were only 26 and 27 running Carmela's Pizza, my grandfather's pizzeria next door, at the time when they'd been captivated by the beautiful but neglected building. They would joke after closing the pizzeria late at night that Boyertown needed a place to get a good martini, somewhere that stayed open a little later and served fresh steaks and seafood. Eventually, they decided to build that place themselves, as my mom put it, quoting an old movie, "If we build it, they will come." In these pictures, you can see my dad painting the walls and the removal of the ice house, and my dad cutting some of the wood and stuff for the inside. Before they ever picked up the hammer, the inspiration for Durangos had already taken shape. After visiting family in Deer Valley, Utah, they had been drawn to the warm Western restaurant designs: solid wood tables, antique chairs, colorful plates, and menus offering elk, ostrich, and buffalo. They wanted to bring that feeling home. Working with almost no budget, they collected decor from their parents' antique barns, dusty basement of the restaurant, and trades with local dealers. They installed a model train that circled the dining room, hung a real airplane propeller from the ceiling, and restored an original lobster table which they found in the cellar. They had even purchased an 1800s map labeled with territories, using the place names to inspire entree titles. My mom bought Fiesta ware in every color she could find and served family-style salads with homemade croutons and garlic bread from the pizzeria next door. Everything from soups to seafood to steaks was fresh, local, and made in-house. You can see my dad here putting up the sign, um, the removal of the ice house, and the finishing of the painting. Their goal was simply to do a soft opening and test the waters. They did not advertise it, wanting to adjust to the crowds first, but people arrived quickly, faster than they expected. One Boyertown Times article described how my parents removed the undesirable elements and brought back to the shine of the historic hotel, emphasizing the dramatic transformation of the building. The biggest challenge, however, was the money. They needed funds for renovations, air conditioning units, construction crews, alcohol inventory, food supplies, and equipment. But they pushed forward with confidence, certain that their work ethic and vision would carry them. As my mom said, if we had really thought about the money, we probably wouldn't have done it. Ignorance is bliss. And here are some of the Boyertown Times articles and old newspapers. My parents are in the bottom right with the 1800s map. Soon enough, Boyertown embraced them. On weekends, there was often 90-minute waits that stretched out the door down the sidewalk. Durango's offered something that the community had never seen: 11 beers on tap, including rare Belgian brews, USDA choice steaks, fresh seafood, and seasonal vegetables sourced locally. Families loved the large portions and bottomless drinks. Young adults came for karaoke, trivia nights, live music, and Halloween events, hosted with Y102. The mayor once arrived after hours with hungry bed and breakfast guests, and my parents reopened the kitchen just for them. They even ensured customers got home safely by offering rides themselves long before ride sharing existed. And here you can see the Halloween event with Y102. My dad dressed as a vampire and my mom dressed as a witch. Durango's influence extended beyond the restaurant. Inspired by Western towns that displayed carved animals in front of businesses, my parents placed a large wooden bear outside the restaurant. The mayor loved it so much that she encouraged other businesses to buy and paint their own bears. Today, those bears still line the streets of Boyertown and are a permanent part of the town's identity sparked by Durango's. I don't have any pictures of the bears, but it's like those towns with like do like different colored animals. Some will be like frogs or buffaloes. Boyertown's are the bears. This is the inside of the restaurant. You can see my mom in the top left. Running the restaurant while raising young children was difficult. My parents had their first two kids during the early years of ownership and initially lived in one of the upstairs apartments. Customers often knocked on the door even when the restaurant was closed, leaving them with no privacy. But they worked as a team. My father managed the kitchen and the chefs, while my mother managed hiring, payroll, scheduling, the front of the house operations. We always had each other's back, my dad reflected. Here you can see my dad in his kitchen and in the pizzeria. Durango's remained successful for nearly 2 decades before my parents eventually sold it, tripling their investment even after ownership changed. The name eventually shifted. The building's revival and renewed reputation were the result of their effort and vision. My mom says the only thing she would have done differently was keep ownership of the building while leasing the business. Still, my parents are most proud of reviving something historic, giving it new life, and creating something filled with happiness and community. Her favorite memory is not a single moment, but all the happy faces that filled the restaurant night after night. Writing this profile has helped me realize that Durango's was never just a restaurant. It was a bridge between generations, a resurrected piece of Boyertown's past, and a testament to my parents' belief in rebuilding and reinventing something forgotten. The story taught me resilience, community, and the power of believing in vision even when others doubt it. The story of Durango's is a story of my family and one that continues to inspire me today. Thank you for listening.